Alright, so today we are going to be cooking mustard greens. Ooh, I got the flash on. Alright, so I'm going to be doing a triple times recipe. So I'm just going to give you what a one-time recipe ingredients are. You're going to need 3 pounds or 3 bushels of mustard greens. And the way you clean them is you peel them. Okay, you peel them and you put them in this side of the sink. You fill the sink up with water and you just throw them in there. And then you move them around and let them soak, and then you throw them back over here and drain it, and there'll be grit and dirt all over. I've already done that, so I can't show you that process. And you're going to need 2 onions. You're going to need 12 to 16 ounces of chopped bacon. You're going to need a little bit of chicken broth, maybe a cup. I throw in potatoes, they're optional. You're going to have salt and pepper to taste, and a little garlic. As you can see, this is a bag of clean greens. We got clean greens here, and we got clean greens here. So I'm doing a triple recipe, but like I said, I'm giving you what you would need for a single recipe. I got this big giant pot. I think this will be its first time making mustard greens. It has done gumbos in the past. It is a very nice pot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start frying up the bacon. Once the bacon renders some fat, we're gonna add what would be 1 cup of onions. Saute it till they get soft, about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're gonna add 5 to 7, maybe 8 cloves, what would be equivalent to 8 cloves of chopped garlic. I got that jarred garlic. I'm putting a whole jar in since it's a 3-time recipe. So let me get the fire lit, the bacon started, get the bacon in there, and we'll go from there. All right, so I got the bacon in. Once the fat starts to render out, I'm gonna break them pieces up so they're not stuck together. A trick that I did, if you look at how I cut the bacon, is I put it in the freezer for about 30-40 minutes before I cut the bacon. It firms it up a little bit. It makes it a lot easier to cut instead of like just regular cool bacon. And then, like I said, I'm going to go in with 3 cups of onions, but for a single order of just 1 cup of onions. Basically, in a regular order, you want 3 pounds or 3 bushels of mustard greens. You want 1 onion to saute, and then when I put the mustard greens in, I'm going to layer each level with another thing of cut onions. I'll show you how to do it here in just a minute. And that just helps it cook all the way through and together. So let me get this going. I'll be back with some onions. All right, you can see how I've broken up the bacon, and you can see where it's rendering out some of that fat, which is perfect. I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer. Maybe till it starts to get a little sticky down here and almost starts to brown on the bottom, and then I'll go in with the onions. I just want to show everything broken up. In case anybody was wondering, I am using Winn-Dixie's Hickory Sweet Hardwood Smoked Thick Cut Bacon. Normally I would go with the just regular cut bacon, but they were out and this was on sale, so I went with the thick cut. It's really not going to make that big of a difference, but I do highly recommend Winn-Dixie's Hickory Hardwood Smoked Hickory Sweet Bacon. It is delicious. All right, I've been cooking mustard greens so long that I can hear when the bacon's almost ready. I'll show it to you. All right, so here's the bacon. Here it's starting to almost about to stick, so it's rendered out a bunch of fat and it's about to start sticking. So while this finishes up, I got to tell you one thing about the mustard green that I did not tell y'all. Okay, I should have even started with this. The way you tell if you have a good mustard green is, I usually do it in the store. I do it dirty. I do it with love bugs, ants, it don't matter. You pick off a little piece, a small piece, and I'm smacking on purpose so you can see what I'm doing. I'm eating it. And right now, I'm getting a strong horseradishy flavor. It burns a little bit. Breathe through your nose. If you get a strong horseradish flavor, you know you got some good mustard greens. All right, so I'm about to put the onions in. This pot's a little high, so it's kind of awkward for me. But I'm doing a big old pot of greens. This is actually for a friend of mine. I've been cooking for him for several years now. This is, again, this is 3 cups going in. I know I'm a little shaky. 3 cups going in, but In a normal recipe, it would be 1 cup. So we're going 3 cups of frozen onions. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to stir these in, saute them out, and then I'm going to enter this whole jar of garlic. So I'll be back when it's time. All right, I can hear the hissing, and I know it's about time for the garlic. So let's just take a quick look. Okay, so I had to cook out some of the moisture in the frozen onions. So let's go ahead and go in with the garlic. Just go in the whole jar. Again, you can put as much or as little garlic as you want. I obviously like a lot. All right, so we're gonna give this a couple minutes to mix in and get flavorful and fragrant. And then I'll be in with the chicken broth. I use chicken broth. If you do this, if you follow this recipe, I guarantee you this will be the best mustard greens you ever have. All right, it's almost time for me to put in the chicken broth, but I just want to point, see the brown down there on the sides right there? All right, that's where that bacon starts to, you know, starts to get a little sticky, which is good because it's going to give you some flavor. So I'm just about ready to put in the chicken broth. But let me show you this real quick, because I don't like to waste things. I took the chicken broth and I put it in the jar of garlic. So I'm going to make sure I get most of the garlic out of there. I don't like to waste things. Now, we have, this is 32 ounces. Normally you do like, you know, a cup or two. And I'm going to just put this right in there. And I'm going to let that come to a boil. And then reduce to a simmer and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to turn the fire up, get it to a boil. Then I'm going to let it simmer for 10 minutes. And then we will start adding the mustard greens. I could add the potatoes too. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to add the potatoes. All right, so it has come to a boil. I lowered the heat down. We're going to let it simmer for 10 minutes to let those flavors blend. And I think I'm going to add the potatoes after the 10 minutes. So it's 2:20 right now. I'll be back at 2:30. All right, it's been 10 minutes. And now I'm going in with the potatoes. This is tough, trying to do this one-handed. I know this is the shittiest video I've ever done, but I apologize. It's just because of this high pot, it's hard for me to hold it. Now I'm going to show you how to do this one time, and then I'm going to do the rest. Because y'all don't need to sit here and watch me do this, because when I watch somebody else do the video, it pisses me off. When instead of just shortening the video, they don't. Alright, so I got some greens. I'm going in. Alright, I'm going to put another layer. I mean, I could actually go all the way to the top, but what I'm going to want to do is salt and pepper each time I put some in, so please hold. I'll be right back. Okay, so I can't film salt and pepper and put the onions, but each layer that goes in, you're going to want to put a little salt and pepper and some onions. So I'm going to fill this pot up, and then I'm going to turn it back on and show you the pot filled up, and then we're going to cook it for like 3 minutes and let that steam wilt them the veggies, the mustard green leaves, and it's going to cook down to literally nothing. So I just want y'all to be able to see that. So let me fill this up real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've filled that pot up with greens. I've layered them. You can see I salt and peppered each layer, and then I'm going to put the lid on. All right, it's 2:34, so we'll come back in a couple minutes, and we'll see how much it has cooked down. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's see. Ooh, let's see how much it's going down. All right, significant. All right, and that's not even counting what I'm about to do. All right, so you saw how much it went down, and then I'm just gonna push this down get it into that boiling chicken broth. And the greens will reduce their juices as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, fill this pot back up, and I'm going to come back when I've got all the greens in. No need to do this every time. All right, I got them all in. I'm going to go lid on. I'm going to let this simmer. I got the heat up pretty high, so I'm going to let it go for 5 more minutes to let that wilt. Then I'm going to kind of mix it all together. And then I'm going to put the top back on it, and I'm going to let it simmer for probably an hour and a half. All right, they're all in. I've lowered the heat to simmer, and now we're going to do an hour and a half. All right, so I forgot to show the finished product before I put everything into the bag, but let me show you what I've done. All right, so these are the mustard greens that I cooked for my friend. See, I labeled them mustard greens, and then when you open it up, there you go. There is your final product. You can see they're still hot. The potatoes look wonderful. The pot liquor looks delicious. I ended up cooking them on a simmer for 2 hours, from 3 to 5, and they taste absolutely wonderful. I added a little salt, and normally I'll add like a cap full of vinegar. I forgot to, but it doesn't matter. It tastes wonderful. Anyway, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Y'all have a good one. I need to come up with like hey, Shad, blah, blah, or some dumb catchphrase saying. Right now, I guess I'll just go, bang! Or is it pow? No, that's already taken. Anyway, if you cook these, leave me a note, let me know. But enjoy. This is for Daddy.